myself at all times, obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves, good luck. Let's go.
Guerrero. Now Morales begins to land the right hand with great regularity. And suddenly the drama changes again. Morales landing 5 or 6 big right hands in this sustained rally. And another. And a right hand from Morales. And now Morales is badly hurt. Morales trying to stay up. A minute to go in round 5. Oh, what a combination by Guerrero as Morales overcommitted.
Questions like that. Let's go to work. Let's go to work.
And gotta go, Joe. And he makes it up. It's over. Jay Lady stops the fight. Oh, what a left hook by Destino. And Morales is down. Hits the canvas. Destino looking to finish it here. He goes down again. Come in. Right first now.
Get it flat on him now.
And Castillo steps back. Morales waiting. Castillo's in trouble. Weed steps in, and the fight is over.
Respect. Touch him, Bernard.
Oh, huge right hand. Huge right hand by Hopkins. Now goes for the got the desire. He's never been knocked out. This fight is over. Steve he's reversed it right hand. Down goes Vasquez. Quickly, he's got 45 seconds. Oh, Vasquez. And that one action. Spectacular atmosphere as these two proud warriors are saluted by this big crowd. It's the go. A bloody into Vasquez. Vasquez almost went down. Ken Russell says he did. It's a knockdown.
And that has helped the crowd.
There are the body shots, and there is a sustained amount of money. Rosello will make good on his promise to keep on fighting even after this. And where does Mayweather go from this pinnacle after claiming that he's going to retire? But a fight.
You have to believe that. He doesn't. He's looking
Hard shots. De La Hoya hasn't been down, but that may be the only thing that. 20 weeks has a tough decision in front of him.
Protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Dribble up, run a swipe in. Touch him up.
Now Margarito starts to land again. Soto's ducking and slipping and firing back. Going to the body. Good left hook by Miguel Cotto. Important shots from the inside now, Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah.
And Cotto goes shooting. Succumbing to the pressure, much the way Sam Judah succumbed to the pressure against him last year. That knockdown could ultimately be the difference in the fight. Has accumulated to the point where Cotto has nothing left.
Touch him up.
James with the same time solo bout in Detroit. Coming into the red. Hard left hand by Prince Nassim.
too much chin.
Pounds Nassim into the ring post. Risking this one on the cambió.
So in that position,
Didn't want to touch any gloves. Touched by Pereira. And every rider.
Give me a good clean fight. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch him up.
Down the middle by Marquez as he did on the quick left hook there. And he fires the straight left hand. And there's the punching bout. Another one and another one.
He's not moving his hand at all. He's standing in one position.
It's a good straight left. That momentarily backs Pacquiao off.
But he's been going straight back.
Third knockdown of the first round. Manny Pacquiao is a storm. Juan Manuel. All right hand stuns Pacquiao.
they can win this fight if they win this round.
Nothing in the first 5 months of 2004 can compare with this. Fire against fire. Down the stretch. Pacquiao's left. Marquez's right.
Hey, David Diamante here in Cancun, just saying big shout out to House of Boxing.
Chacal de House Boxing, David Medalluta Jiménez, nuevo campeón mundial interino de la Asociación Mundial de Boxeo. Que Dios lo bendiga, gracias por el apoyo y siempre positivo.
Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? José Benavides Sr., un saludo para House of Boxing, échenle ganas.
House of Boxing, la Casa del Boxeo, les saluda Bernardo Zuna, ayer nos vemos en San Diego.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, bienvenidos a House of Boxing, la Casa del Boxeo. Los saluda su host, el Chacal, para invitarlos una vez más a un episodio de este gran canal de boxeo, lo que es House of Boxing, la Casa del Boxeo. El día de hoy es un episodio especial, como lo podrán ver, estamos en sábado y a una hora bastante inusual, pero todo sea por el bien de la entrevista y del entrevistado. Como dicen por ahí, el fin justifica los medios, y en este caso tendremos el día de hoy, con el favor de Dios, si es que se conecta ahorita en unos minutos, a John Ryder, del barrio de Islington, a ir al límite con Canelo en el golpe que cambió su destino. Así es, amigos, el día de hoy vamos a tener quizás uno de los invitados más importantes del canal hasta este momento en términos de boxeadores, porque es un boxeador, bueno, ya no es activo, pero tiene mucho que ver con la cara del boxeo, y pues obviamente yo creo que tiene mucho que ver con lo que se viene ahorita, que pues ya estamos a casi, bueno, hoy es el 16. A ver, vamos a ver. A ver, aquí 16. Bueno, no, ya sería menos de un mes, señores, así es, porque el 13 de septiembre es cuando será la pelea de John Ryder, iba a decir, no, la pelea de Saúl Canelo Álvarez con Terence Crawford. Por lo tanto, es muy interesante lo que esperamos de esta entrevista, porque ahora sí que John Ryder nos puede dar un análisis. Él ya se enfrentó a Canelo y puede colaborar con nosotros como analista de qué es lo que ve en esa pelea tan morbosa, tan llamativa para muchos, y sobre todo para el mundo del boxeo hoy en día. La están volviendo cada vez más competitiva. Entonces queremos ver exactamente el punto de vista de alguien que ha estado con Canelo en el ring, y pues que yo creo que tiene mucho que decir acerca de esta pelea. Así es que pues estamos esperando a John Ryder que se una aquí con nosotros, pero antes que nada, aprovechando que estamos platicando de eso precisamente, de esa pelea que viene en menos de un mes, ¿qué creen? ¿Qué creen? ¿Qué creen? No, no es cierto, ya. ¿Qué creen? Me llegó ya la revista de Ring Magazine sobre la pelea, así es que se las voy a mostrar aquí para que ustedes la vean. Ahora sí que puedo decir que en esta nueva generación de The Ring se volaron la barda con esta edición, miren. ¡Pum! Aquí está. Es la revista de Ring Magazine, edición especial, como pueden ver, Canelo Crawford Super Fight Special Edition. Aquí está, miren. El Turqui ahora sí que se voló la barda, y miren, no, o sea, no es ningún secreto. Acá tiene su promoción. Fly Saudi to the World. Obviamente está promocionando también todos los productos allá de Arabia Saudita, pero la revista está muy padre. No la he leído todavía, se los debo eso, después les voy a decir qué es mi opinión acerca de ella, pero sin duda, como la pueden ver, parece como un libro, pasta dura de los dos lados, muy bonita fotografía, y la calidad del papel y de las fotos, miren, pueden ver, está sumamente padre, ¿no? Como que se ve que le pusieron mucho esmero, hicieron todo lo que es un documental aquí, miren, de las Super Fights. Ahí está la de Pacquiao con Mayweather, miren el Canelo de niño, ahí está la de Durán con Leonard. Entonces tenemos muchas aquí, una cobertura increíble, yo creo. O sea, vean, muchas fotos, o sea, está dedicada ahora sí que literalmente toda la revista, hasta una sección de cómics, miren, toda la revista a ese gran evento de Canelo contra Crawford. Entonces se ve muy, muy fregona la revista, y pues ya la leeré. Vamos a ver la calidad de los artículos, porque obviamente eso es algo muy importante en una revista, y ya les daré mi opinión. Pero Ya con el solo hecho de un buen souvenir para el fanático de boxeo, vale la pena comprarla. Y creo que ya finalmente se están expandiendo ya Ring Magazine a las tiendas ya de, así como Barnes Nobles en Estados Unidos. Entonces va a ser más fácil que la puedan comprar ahí, porque al principio creo que las primeras ediciones que regresaron solamente era si estabas suscrito o si la compras directamente por la página. Pero yo les recomiendo que cualquiera que quiera tener este souvenir, traten de ir rápidamente a la página de Ring Magazine, porque estoy seguro que esta revista en unos años va a valer un buen billete. Entonces, aparte de todo, viene con un póster pequeño. Se me hizo un poquito pequeño comparado con los otros, pero aquí está, miren. Es una buena portada, una buena imagen lo que te trae la revista. Entonces, está chido, está chido. Y bueno, quería compartirla con ustedes. Me llegó ayer y dije, los voy a, ahorita como que checaba perfectamente, ¿no? Para poder platicar un poquito. Déjenme, voy a revisar a ver si ya me contestó. Dice que no, todavía no. Entonces son las 10 de la mañana del tiempo de San Diego y en Inglaterra son las 6 de la tarde. Entonces quedamos a esta hora. Él quedó muy formal. Esperemos que no nos vaya a quedar mal John Ryder. Pero bueno, vamos a saludar primero a toda la gente. Tenemos aquí a Dude Love que dice saludos, Chacal. Tenemos a Héctor Correa desde Uruguay que dice saludos a Héctor Correa. También tenemos desde Lima, Perú, pura gente de allá de Latinoamérica. Un saludo. Saludos a Roberto Vega. Dice, saludos, Chacal. Pregúntale su pronóstico de la pelea de Dillian Whyte contra Moisés Utama. Ah, sí, podemos preguntarle también eso. Dude Love, 29 días faltan para la pelea, creo. Miré que publicaron en X. Así es cierto. Chacal dice aquí, está curada la revista, Chacal. Sí, está muy padre, fíjate, la verdad que sí está muy padre. Luis Ríos dice, saludos, Chacal, dejando like, un saludo a Luis Ríos, ahí saludándolo también. Estuvo en ProBox TV, el amigo, compartiendo micrófono con Juan Manuel Márquez y Ricardo Celis. Los invito en la última edición a que vayan y lo vean. Hizo una muy buena actuación, un muy buen papel, mejor dicho, muy buen papel. Creo que tuvieron una idea ahí los de ProBox TV de invitar a una persona así como del público a que compartiera con ellos algunos temas de boxeo, y Luis les escribió y lo agarraron, y creo que tuvieron el programa el martes pasado, y ayer sacaron el video, así es que el que lo quiere ir a ver, ahí está en ProBox TV en español para el buen Luis. Bueno, amigos, pues estamos aquí esperando a John Ryder, muy emocionados, la verdad. Acuérdense de la temática, obviamente la entrevista va a ser en inglés, entonces no se les olvide que pues no va a haber subtítulos, no va a haber nada en español por el momento hasta que la entrevista se suba ya bien a YouTube en unas horas, y ya entonces ahí van a poder activar los subtítulos para verla, pero bueno, emocionados aquí, sí, como dijo Roberto Vega, ya hay boxeo el día de hoy, se viene la pelea esa de Itaúma. Vi por ahí también que ya se concretó aparentemente la pelea entre ¿quién? Fundora y Keith Thurman. ¿Qué piensan de esa pelea? Y luego también aparentemente ya Virgil Ortiz tiene rival. Ya ven que se había dicho que iba a ser Thurman, pero ahora cambiaron a ¿cómo se llama? A Lubin. Es el que va a ser ahora el rival de Virgil Ortiz. Bueno, ahí traían dimes y diretes con Saunders Sayas, unas cositas ahí de que supuestamente Virgil Ortiz lo estaba buscando, que le estaban dando la vuelta. Luego después salió Saunders Sayas sacando a la luz el email que mandaron los de Golden Boy, unos términos bastante, pues ahora sí que un poquito difíciles de negociar, ¿no? Tomando en cuenta que Saunders Sayas posiblemente pudiera ser igual el peleador más famoso, quizás no es el mejor de los dos, y aparte de todo el campeón mundial, ¿no? Entonces pidiendo que la pelea se hiciera en DAZN, que fuera 50-50 todas las ganancias, que fuera pay-per-view, en fin, un sinnúmero de cosas que yo creo que hacían la negociación más complicada de lo que podía hacer si Virgil Ortiz en verdad quisiera pelear así rápidamente con Saunders Sayas, ¿no? Y no le estuviera poniendo ahora sí que ninguna traba, porque pues yo creo que podrían haber habido otras, ahora sí que otras pretensiones por parte de Virgil más condescendientes, para dejar ahora sí que, como dirían por acá, ¿no? La pelota en la cancha de Saunders Sayas, ¿no? Por ejemplo, pues que Saunders Sayas ganara más dinero, ¿cuál es el problema? que fueran más flexibles en términos de televisoras, aunque pues se entiende que Golden Boy está amarrado a DAZN, pero pues el exigir tantas cosas así aparentemente sería como si Virgil Ortiz estuviera al nivel ahorita en cuestión de fama y pues siendo un campeón mundial también, a pesar de que Virgil tiene mejor oposición y definitivamente, en mi opinión, está mejor posicionado en la división, pero puede ser que el mercado con Saya sea un poquito mejor porque pues es la promesa boricua, ¿no? Pero bueno, pues vamos a ver qué sucede. Por el momento, pues sabemos que esas son las dos peleas que se van a hacer por separado. Entonces, a ver, ¿qué más tenemos por aquí? A ver. Bueno, se viene la pelea de Moisés Itauma contra Dillian Whyte en unas horas más. Una pelea que yo creo que, pues, de ser lo que debe de ser Moisés Itauma, pues debe de pasar por encima de Dillian Whyte, que ya es un peleador pues más para allá que para acá, no es un peleador ya medio retirado. Es una pena, honestamente, que Frank Warren haya recurrido al pay-per-view, porque pues yo no pienso pagar por esa pelea y no creo que sea la mejor manera de promocionar a Moisés Itauma. Haciendo que, pues ahora sí que la afición se reduzca y que no lo vean, ¿no? Yo creo que es una pelea que debía de haber sido gratis, tomando en cuenta para dónde va el boxeo ya. Y pues a lo mejor ahorita, como hay escasez de funciones, la gente la hubiéramos visto hasta con más gusto, por la razón de que, bueno, estaríamos esperando ahora sí que boxeo, ¿no? Y la hubiéramos visto, pero pagar por un pay-per-view como esa pelea de Itauma con Dillian Whyte, y luego más con una cartelera que no se viene así que digas tu puta, que fuerte, pues no se me hace que sea la mejor opción, y creo que ahí la riegan. Yo no pienso ver la pelea, pero pues a ver cómo les va, ¿no? En la cuestión de ventas. Ojalá y Moisés Itauma haga lo que tiene que hacer con Dillian Whyte rápido, lo despache, porque yo creo que pues eso es lo que ocupa para hacer un nombre, y sobre todo empezar a tocarle ya la puerta ahí a Usyk para una pelea, o quizás una pelea contra Joseph Parker, no sé, ¿verdad? Pero bueno, eso es lo que tengo que decir de eso. El Wikichenko, para los que se preguntan por qué no está aquí, tuvo unos problemillas ahí de cuestión de actividades y no nos va a poder acompañar el día de hoy en la entrevista. Entonces, seguimos esperando aquí a John Ryder, pero sí, pero en las siguientes yo creo que aquí lo vamos a tener. Desafortunadamente el Wiki no pudo estar aquí el día de hoy, pero ahí están las wikinotas que están muy, muy interesantes. La novela ahí de Andre Ward con Anthony Joshua, que la verdad se me hace un chiste de muy mal gusto, porque pues honestamente Andre Ward no tiene nada que hacer ya llamando al boxeo, ya se fue. Creo que muchos supimos las razones por las que se fue, y el hacer este tipo de cosas simplemente hace que la gente reviva esas cosas, y no le van a dar la oportunidad contra Anthony Joshua primero, porque como lo dijo Joshua, nomás lo que quiere es el payday, pero lo único que hace es de que la gente el por qué se fue, y el empezar a ver todas las peleas que ocurrieron en 175 libras, y el decir, bueno, te fuiste cuando estaban en su apogeo Dimitri Bivol, cuando estaba en su apogeo Artur Beterbiev y muchos otros. Entonces ahora resulta que quieres regresar y quieres a Anthony Joshua, pero no pides a ningún 175. ¿Por qué no dijo, a ver, ¿sabes qué? Quiero regresar y yo les voy a enseñar el blueprint o la clave para ganarle a David Benavides, y quiero a David Benavides? ¿Por qué no dijo eso? Ahí está el detalle, ¿no? Va a una pelea contra Anthony Joshua que no tiene nada que ver, y simplemente para la típica, ¿no? El ganar para el peleador chico, y que no se le critique nada, pero creo que una vez más le sale el tiro por la culata, y ahora la gente le empieza a tirar a él, y pues bueno, es más de lo mismo, ¿no? Pero aquí regresando un poquito a los comentarios, dice Flores, saludos desde California, saludos a Flores. Luis Ríos, gracias Chacal por los elogios, no, felicidades. Dudla dice, ¿qué tan factible ves el rumor de que Virgil y Boots se enfrenten en febrero? Porque veo más probable esa pelea que Virgil Sayas por las promotoras, y creo que Top Rank lo cuidará. Efectivamente, Dude Love, yo creo que es mucho más factible que se enfrenten Boots Ennis y Virgil, por la razón de que van a estar peleando en la misma plataforma, por lo menos, si no son las mismas promotoras, porque obviamente Boots está con Matchroom y Virgil está con Golden Boy, pero de alguna manera todos pelean bajo la chequera del Turkey. Entonces yo creo que ahorita sería mucho más factible esa pelea entre ellos dos. Y pues si bien Boots Ennis se vio muy mal, y ahí traíamos el programa pasado su foto aquí y ya la borré. No, aquí está, miren, Boots Ennis, qué bonito salió. Ahí está Boots Ennis queriendo pelear con todos y al final peleando con el cantante ese de Brasil, ¿no? El Gustavo Lima, el de ¿quién quiere leche? ¿Quién quiere leche? ¿Quién quiere leche? No es cierto. Pero sí, yo creo que Boots Ennis, pues definitivamente lo que está tratando de hacer es agarrar un paquete de peleas, exprimir un poquito la cartera del Turkey y de ahí ir con Virgil Ortiz. Ahora, no se confundan en una cosa, ¿eh? No se confundan. El hecho de que el Boots haya pedido ese paquete de peleas, pues en el pedir está el dar, ¿no? Tú puedes pedir y como yo siempre lo he dicho aquí, en el mundo del boxeo no es lo que vales, no es lo que debiera de pasar, es lo que tú puedes negociar. Y no es en el mundo del boxeo, es en el mundo en general, ¿sí? Entonces, en este caso, él negoció ese paquete de peleas, que sí lo deja mal parado por un lado, porque tampoco las puedes ganar todas, lo deja mal parado en el punto en que lo ponen como un duck, como un pato, porque le está supuestamente dando la vuelta a los demás. Pero hay que ser honestos con uno mismo. Haya tomado ese camino, no quiere decir que no le vaya a ganar a Virgil. Le puede ganar a Virgil. No quiere decir que no pueda ganarle a Crawford o que no pudiera competir con Crawford. No quiere decir que no le pudiera ganar a Haney. O sea, el hecho de que él esté tomando esto, pues digo, como guerrero de esos old school, no lo deja bien parado. Pero aún así el tipo es un gran peleador y lo vimos en su última pelea contra Stanionis. Por lo tanto, no se nos olvide también otra cosa. El hecho de que Virgil Ortiz haya tomado el camino donde haya tenido dos peleas importantes contra Bogashuk y contra Madrimov, no quiere decir que no haya batallado con los dos y que quizás gente lo vio perder hasta con los dos. Entonces, como dicen, él está tomando los retos y definitivamente algo le debe de dejar de aprendizaje ese tipo de retos que está tomando, sin duda. Pero al final de cuentas, cuando se enfrente con Boots Ennis, es una pelea que está 50 y 50 y honestamente puede ganar cualquiera de los dos, ¿eh? O hasta si tú me dices, yo veo favorito a Boots Ennis, pues tienes un punto de por qué tener esa postura. Entonces, al final del día, yo creo que Virgil está haciendo lo que debe de hacer. Digo, la pelea ahorita con Lundy no es la que todo el mundo, Erickson Lubin creo, no es la que todo el mundo queríamos ver, ¿no? Pero yo creo que sí puede ser como que los dos se estén preparando para una pelea en febrero, ¿eh? Y va a ser una muy buena pelea. Ojalá la pelea sea en una sede donde no esté tan lejos, que sea una buena sede de boxeo, porque si bien vimos Boots Ennis en su última pelea en Detroit vendió súper bien y pues Virgil ahí en Texas como que también tiene una buena fanaticada, entonces estaría interesante a ver dónde van a hacer esa pelea, igual y tiene que ser en uno de esos lados porque Las Vegas pues a veces como que ya no está saliendo tan redituable hacer peleas ahí, ¿no? Pero bueno, yo creo que aquí, como dice Dude Love, veo más factible que sí se cumpla eso y que después veamos algo con Sayas, pero a Sayas le van a dar un poquito más de fogueo, porque también Sayas está joven y lo volvemos a repetir, Sayas tiene un problema, no tiene punch, entonces cada vez que se meta al ring va a estar en peligro con pegadores así como Boots y como Virgil, por lo tanto sus habilidades boxísticas que tienen que estar como navajita de rasurar para poder boxear a esos peleadores y de alguna manera ganar rounds así sin ponerse en peligro, entonces pues todavía le falta al muchacho, le falta. Llevó a la escuelita, como se había dicho aquí, al Chino García, pero una cosa es el Chino García y otra cosa son los demás, ¿no? Entonces vamos a ver qué onda. Dice aquí Mr. Heat, era de los padres, apoyando con el like. Muchas gracias, Mr. Heat. A ver, vamos a ver si John Ryder, okay, ahí ya dice que ya lo vio, entonces yo creo que esperemos que esté por conectarse. Es que acuérdense que ya son las 6 de la tarde. Él vive en Londres, Inglaterra. Ojalá y se conecte porque la verdad se me hace que va a poner buena la entrevista. Y dice, y Usyk pidió más tiempo en las negociaciones con Parker porque estaba lesionado o algo así. Sí, así es. Usyk pidió más tiempo con Parker, pero por ahí se dice que la pelea que quieren hacer es la de Itaúma y no la de Parker, que a mí se me hace que Usyk debería de ir mejor por Parker. Yo creo que Itaúma tiene que... Sería interesante que Itaúma fuera con Parker, pero también sería injusto para Parker que le quisieran atragantar a Itaúma por la razón de que Itaúma todavía no es nadie importante y Parker merece ese payday con Usyk, ¿no? Que al parecer es un buen payday. Entonces, pues vamos a ver, el negocio del boxeo es así, es complicado y desafortunadamente Usyk tampoco es así como un lado A súper grande, entonces él va a estar donde el Turkey le diga que esté y donde estén los millones también. Creo que no podemos ahora sí que de alguna manera pedirle más a Usyk. Usyk ha peleado con todos, le ha ganado a todos. Entonces, ¿qué más se le puede pedir a Usyk, no? Él tiene que esperar. Digo, no ha peleado con Parker, pero tampoco podríamos ni siquiera pensar que Usyk le estuviera huyendo a Parker, por el amor de Dios. Entonces, pues vamos a ver qué onda. Bueno, aquí ya dice en Instagram que ya vio los últimos mensajes. Ahí le dejé el link. No ha contestado nada. Esperemos que se esté preparando. Pero bueno, amigos, se viene muy pronto ya el primer episodio. Yo creo que va a ser la siguiente semana de Noches de Gloria. Marco Antonio Barrera contra Eric Morales. La primera pelea la vamos a revivir aquí el Wikichenko y yo. Estamos inclusive tratando de conseguir algún videíto de parte del Terrible Morales, que le mandé el trailer de la pelea y de la pelea del episodio y le gustó mucho. Le dije que si nos puede mandar. ¡Uta! Ya llegó, señores, ya llegó. Entonces, vamos de una vez. Déjenme, le voy a mandar un mensaje en privado, pero ya llegó el invitado, Aguántenme. A ver. Ok, creo que ya tenemos a John Ryder ahí. Entonces, champ, just give me a little bit of a moment. Ya contestó. Give me a little bit of a moment. Let me prepare everything to bring you in, okay? So, just give me 1 second here. Ok, ya parece que está escuchándonos ahí John Ryder. Así es que, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, venimos ya ahora sí que a lo que venimos, a la entrevista con el gran John Ryder. Así es que ya saben, nos vamos a transformar ahorita en un show en inglés porque el invitado habla inglés. Así es que espero lo disfruten mucho, amigos. Está aquí hecho con todo el esfuerzo esta entrevista y cariño a todos ustedes y sobre todo para ahora sí que el campeón se sienta aquí como en casa. Así es que con eso dicho, amigos, let's do this right now, pero vamos a ponerle el trailer de la entrevista para que esto se anime de una vez.
Thank you. Certainly Nielsen.
It's very tight. Good stop around from me. Sim said to him, when you're close, look for those little shots off the...
John Ryder still reacting to. Oh, he flipped it big again. The referee taking a look at Ryder. Ryder better clinch. Getting hit too clean by a big puncher. Munguía looks a mess. That would be surprising.
But if he is going to do that, he needs more jabs. He's not coming back with a punch. You can see that was part of the strategy. And that left uppercut also.
Stay busy. 10 seconds to go. Big overhand right for Canelo. Ryder says, come on.
Bueno, aquí está el trailer. Espero que les haya gustado. Y ahora sí, ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, today in House of Boxing, la Casa del Boxeo, we welcome a true warrior, a man who embodies perseverance, grit, and the spirit of boxing. He faced the very best of his generation, from Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith to Daniel Jacobs, Jaime Munguía, and of course, the great Canelo Alvarez. He's fought in small English arenas and on the biggest stages in the world, including going the distance with Canelo in Guadalajara, Mexico, proving to the entire planet that heart and courage can never be judged on paper. They call him the gorilla, but to many fans, he's the real life Rocky Balboa of British boxing. It is an absolute honor for me, El Chacal, to welcome to House of Boxing, John Ryder. How you doing, champ?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me on.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for adjusting with us for the time difference. I know that over there it's already 6 p.m. and it's Saturday, so you probably have a lot of stuff to do, but we want to definitely respect your time here and let you know that we are very excited to having you here in House of Boxing.
No, thank you. I mean, that was some introduction. Quite nice to see the highlight reel. Some highs, some lows, but some great moments. So thank you for that.
No. Thank you. It was very fun to actually go and do the trailer because I had a chance to go and snoop out in a lot of your fights and get to know you a little bit more. And obviously, this is the kind of fighters that we like to remember, fighters that they gave their all in the ring. Not too long ago, we had here Michael Katsidis. It's another warrior of the ring. And, that's kind of like what we sometimes are missing the fans nowadays in boxing, because it seems that people or fighters care more about the business today than being a fighter. So first of all, here in the channel, we always had this question that we ask to our fighters that come to the show. And it's in Spanish, and it says like this: ¿Cuál fue el golpe que cambió tu destino? That means, which was the punch that actually changed your destiny? In what moment did you realize that you want to be a fighter?
I think early on in my life, watching a lot of boxing, potentially Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank in the 90s was a great era for British boxing, especially, and a great to be in the division I finally ended up in, super middleweight. But just a great time for boxing. Then Ricky Hatton come on the scene, obviously big fights in the UK, and then to go obviously Kostya Tszyu to really make his name worldwide, and then to go on to fight the likes of Castillo and Mayweather was a great time for us.
Did you have a chance to go to any of the fights over there in England of Ricky Hatton?
I did see one of Ricky Hatton's fights in the UK. Yeah, okay. It was a good night. Good to get the buzz of the arena and the environment, and he took a fantastic crowd wherever he went in the world.
Yeah, no, I bet. I mean, I never been in a fight of Ricky Hatton, but when he faced Mayweather in Las Vegas, that time it was like the first time that I saw a crowd that it was so into making noise. And then actually, it's very funny because I was looking at your biography, and I saw that you are from Islington, and I didn't know at the beginning where it is. But then I saw that it was close to London, and me and my co-host, who actually couldn't be on the show today, and he was very sad that he couldn't make it. We went to the Usyk against Dubois fight, like a month ago over there in the Wembley Stadium. So we had the time. I mean, it was something in our bucket list. We always wanted to go, and we were actually gonna go, because I live in Italy for 1 year when I was studying, and we were going to go together back in the day to see the Calzaghe versus Jeff Lacey fight, but we couldn't make it. So it was in our bucket list to go and watch a fight over there in England. And man, it lived to our expectations. You guys are phenomenal to be around and watch a fight. 90,000 people on that night between Dubois and Usyk, and we fell in love. And I mean, we are so happy that you guys exist, and I think you guys probably right now are the biggest fan base in boxing.
Yeah, I think especially UK fights and UK shows, especially now with the more stadium shows. I mean, Calzaghe really started that off with the big fights in Cardiff. Ricky Hatton as well allowed the big nights, and then of late AJ really brought it back. The big nights at Wembley, the big nights up and down the country at big stadiums. Conor Benn and Eubank. I mean, it's becoming more and more regular now in the UK, which is nice, and so many more fans and so much more fans around the world are getting to see.
Yeah. So I mean, we kind of like cover right now from what you said that your inspiration were Conor Benn Nigel Benn, sorry, and Chris Eubank as fighters. So let me ask you this. Let's talk about those early fights, your amateur career. What do you remember about your amateur career? And up to that point, can you tell us a little bit of the highlights in your amateur career? Did you had a dream about going to the Olympics, or what do you remember about those days?
It was good. I mean, I lost my first amateur fight when I was 15.
Okay.
But listen, it was razor thin. Then I went 23 fights unbeaten. Won 2 national titles in the meantime. Then I come against George Groves in the championships.
Oh, okay.
And George Groves was the reigning champion at our weight and was going for it a second year in a row, the ABA. So I met him in the Northwest Division final, and he beat me on points, but he went on to win it again.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, okay. Well, yeah, it's funny right now. Like when you mention those kind of names, like it's always interesting when you talk to fighters and they, like you have an idea on what it was their pro careers, but then they come out with names that they face in the amateurs that you don't even have a clue. Like, for example, me, when I was doing a little bit of research, I saw that Sean Porter fought with Usyk, and you're like, really? Those guys fought against each other? Or like, I was talking to David Diaz, and he told me some fights that he had against Sab Yuda and other guys, and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool that you never, I mean, if you only look at the box rec, you would never know. So that's very, very interesting. So now let's move on to your early pro career. Let's talk about that and tell me what was what happened that made you to take that jump to the pro. You obviously were on the amateur. You decided that this is what you wanted to do, but how was that experience for you to switch between being an amateur fighter to go to the pro?
It was quite an easy choice for me, really. I had more of a pro style, and at the time in the amateur boxing, it was point scoring, very much stand up.
Yeah.
Like long boxers was best because it was more just win off the jab, 1-2s, sharp 1-2s would just rack up the points. Whereas I was more of a short, stocky southpaw to get in close and work the body, bring it up to the head and try and ground you down over the time. And that just point score wasn't suited to me at the time. So it was an easy decision for me to say, right, I think now's the time to go pro.
Definitely. And you mentioned you're a southpaw. Are you a lefty on everything, or just in boxing, or are you left on anything?
I am, yeah, right with my left hand, kicking a football with my left foot.
Okay.
All very left-sided, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like there is some cases, like for example, I don't know, Miguel Cotto, Oscar de la Hoya. Those guys are lefty, but they fight in the orthodox stand because they told them that it was better for them because they have their powerful hand in the front. So that's why they have those tremendous left hooks. And then, for example, Marco Antonio Barrera is the same thing. He's a lefty guy, but he fights in the orthodox. But that's a different story for him because he said that when he went to the gym, his trainer didn't like to train any southpaws. So he's like, no. If you want to be training boxing with me, you're going to be an orthodox. So they made him an orthodox being a lefty. So did you find yourself in an advantage being a southpaw? Was it easier for you and where you train, or didn't have any, I would say, any difference on it?
I think it was hard at times because trainers didn't like it. They found it hard to train a southpaw. And like when you say with Margarito, people didn't want him to be southpaw because they wanted to train him orthodox, so it was easy for them. But no, I've had good trainers along that was welcomed it and just tried to make me the best I could be in that stance.
I see. Well, then now let's get back to your early career, right? You have a very successful early fights. You won a lot of them, and then finally you face Billy Joe Saunders, right? Which was basically your first loss, but it was a very razor edge fight. What do you remember about facing Billy Joe Saunders?
It was crazy. It was a crazy night. We didn't end up getting in the ring till like 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
We'd weighed in obviously a day and a half before by then, and just inexperienced at the time, not being fueled enough for the fight. But I went in there and gave a great account of myself. Billy Joe was a great fighter. Again, it was razor tight, and you could have flicked a coin to pick a winner.
I know, that's what I thought. I mean, like I saw that fight like a couple of times, and sometimes I saw you winning, sometimes I saw Billy Joe. So it's one of those fights that is just, it could have gone like pretty much anywhere. And I mean, it didn't go your way, which I mean, it leads me to your other loss, the first loss on knockout with Blackwell. That I was watching that fight. What do you remember about that fight? Because in my opinion, I think the referee didn't favor you on that one. I think he stopped the fight too soon, and you were getting a very good momentum on the fight. I actually thought that you could be even winning. What do you remember about that, and how did that shape you for the future?
Yeah, I remember I think it was I felt like I was well up the first 4 rounds. I was winning well, boxing well, landing at will. And then I got hit with a body shot at the end of the 4th, I think, and then got it was a good shot, a good liver shot. And then in the 5th round, I got caught on the chin, but the referee just called a halt as I went to. I got caught with a good shot as I stepped forward to try and grab hold of Nick. The referee, no, he stepped back, so I stepped back to gain some space, and the referee stepped in and stopped the fight, which was a weird time to stop it.
Did that demotivate you at that moment? Did that make you feel like maybe boxing was not the most fairest sport, or it just didn't, it just make you work harder for your next fight?
I think we all know boxing's not always fair, but
it just we're gonna talk about that with you.
That's it. It just motivated me to do better. I mean, I was struggling at middleweight then, and I knew that I'd be making the move up to super middleweight before too long, but I didn't make it straight away. I tried again, but obviously it was too much making the weight for me.
Definitely. Then also I remember the fight with Rocky Fielding. I mean, the reason why I went and looked at that fight is because later on Rocky Fielding became famous for facing Canelo, but it was also a very razor edge fight, right? I mean, I don't know, what do you think about that fight? What do you remember about facing Rocky Fielding? Because I think it's another decision that could have gone your way. It seems like every single time we're talking about some of your fights, you just got the short end of the stick, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, like if you fight someone from Liverpool in Liverpool, the chances are you're not going to get the fairest crack of the whip. But listen, it was a close fight, and I feel like I had him going in I think it was the 10th or the 11th round. I caught him with a big shot, and I needed to go for the kill. Whereas I thought I was going to get a fair shot. I didn't, and it showed on the cards.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was another fight that definitely you could have got the hand rise, and it was a little bit. I mean, I definitely admire a lot your resilience about those moments and keep going and just keep going to a comeback. And I mean, sorry, I remember you these kind of experiences, but I mean, we had to name it because this is the other fight that actually got you in the radar of pretty much everybody, at least on that time on my radar, when you fought Callum Smith. What do you remember about that fight with Callum Smith? That's another one that, we all remember Callum Smith as the fighter that Canelo needed to fight in 168 because he won the World Boxing Super Series. He looked tremendous in that tournament. But then he fought you, and then we're like, okay, he's fighting this guy, John Ryder. So we saw the fight, and to be honest, I think you were robbed on that fight. What do you remember about that?
I remember just being in there at one point, just thinking we was trading. I just thought to myself, this is probably quite a good fan to watch. It's quite a good fight to watch for the fans. It's quite exciting. But then I remember just second half of the fight just taking over, and I think in the end I had myself 8 rounds. But there's no way I saw him winning at all.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, did you guys ever talk about maybe a rematch at that point, or he just decided not to look back to you and just try to go and cash his ticket with Canelo?
I think it was a bad time, especially with the COVID-19 breakout and the lockdowns, and obviously a lot of boxing stopped, and then when boxing straight in line to face Canelo.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but at least we all remember when, when that happened, that obviously your name now came into the equation. And I mean, I think after that, I think luck start going into your side, because you went and jumped to a couple of good victories, and then you start getting names like, for example, Daniel Jacobs. What do you remember about facing Daniel Jacobs at that moment? Because finally, I feel that you got you got in the side about finally getting the decision in so many of those close fights where you could have got it, and they didn't give it to you, but finally they give you that that victory against a big name like Jacobs at that moment. What do you remember?
It was great, especially Jacobs. I was a fan of Jacobs long before I ever saw him as a rival. His story is a remarkable one. What he's been through.
Yeah.
So for me to be coming out of the crazy time we've been in recently through COVID and not knowing what was going to happen with boxing and live shows, to finally come out the other side and to get a live show back in my hometown against a name like Danny Jacobs was brilliant, and it was great to share the ring with him. I was surprised at how I didn't find him strong inside. I didn't think he could punch hard, and it was I was expecting more from him all the time. And then when the later rounds come, and I could just see that there wasn't the desire to push it. He'd given all. He didn't have any more gears. Didn't have any more to give. So it was more just like, take over now.
Yeah. So I think definitely that gives you a lot of more experience, and finally, to be able to be in that big stage and seeing those guys and understanding what moment you need to raise your pace on the fights to obtain the victory, which I think, that was definitely a very good victory for you. And then it came the opportunity. Well, you fought Zach Parker, right? Which probably they were trying to push him hard too, to be one of the next stars from over there from England. And then you beat him. You beat him by technical knockout. I think he got into a fight with you there, and he got injured or something like that, right, on his hand or something.
Yeah, I think he broke his hand in the fifth round and couldn't continue. So it was the tide was turning in my favor. I was starting to get on top, and then he threw a shot, landed wrong, and his hand went. But yeah, we got the victory and then got the opportunity.
And then you got the big ticket, right? So we're gonna
That's
move
it.
into that right now. The Canelo fight. So, champ, I think it was May 2023, Guadalajara, Mexico. You walk into the Lions Den against Canelo Alvarez. I think a lot of people didn't think that you were gonna last the whole route, but you actually went the full 12 rounds, showing grit and showing a lot of heart. So, I mean, when I was watching your fights and was trying to do the trailer for this interview, I picked the soundtrack of Rocky because I felt on that moment when I was rewatching that fight with Canelo that it reminded me, and I don't know if you agree with me, the fight of Rocky against Apollo Creed, the first one, right? That, I mean, people were thinking that he was just gonna lose by knockout, but for him it was about trying to win, but trying to go the distance and being competitive and prove himself that he deserved to be at that level. And I think that's what you proved there in Guadalajara, going all the way to Mexico to fight the champ on his home field and face it with a very hostile crowd as well, cheering for him and going the distance. And then actually in the last couple of rounds of the fight, you look really good, touching Canelo with good uppercuts, and you won the respect of all the people. Do you feel that maybe that's a good comparison, that you are the Rocky Balboa of the of the boxing?
Yeah, no, I love that comparison. As a child, I loved the Rocky films. I still love to see the Creed films now. So yeah, I mean, for me, that's a great comparison. I feel honoured as such. It was the Rocky was so much excitement, and honestly, I watch back the Canelo highlights now, and I feel the excitement, and I'm like, wow, that was me.
That was amazing. What do you remember about being in Guadalajara in that promotion and being on that stadium, walking inside? I mean, obviously, you are some used to those big crowds in England, but being now part of that main event and being part of the main event with the face of boxing, but not in just like a neutral turf, like so to speak, right? Which is the U.S., Las Vegas, or any of those places. Because I mean, even that is Canelo's backyard too, but it's not Mexico. So here, like from the moment that you arrive to the country and that you are on the city, it's like a different language. Everything is different. What do you remember about that moment, and what came into your mind when you were walking from the, I would say, for the locker room to the ring at that moment?
I was so focused on just myself, the ring, and the Canelo. I knew the crowd was going to be hostile. I knew that I wouldn't hear the music, and it was just going to be me alone with my thoughts. So literally, I just done so much work to focus on myself, being present in the moment, and not letting this pass me up, that I didn't even notice the crowd. I didn't hear no boos. I didn't hear nothing. It just fully focused on getting to the ring and just getting about the work.
Nice, nice. Do you, at that moment, you thought about it, everything that he went through your whole career, all the times that maybe you were just short on getting the decision, but somehow, some way, your effort, your perseverance, and your heart took you to that big stage where finally, the world of boxing rewards you back with such a big fight? Did you feel like I did it, I made it to the big stage?
Of course, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of people who believe they deserve it more than me, but it was my just rewards. I got it. I'd been on the wrong end a few times. Had a few dodgy decisions go against me, and now's my time to get back and get what I deserved. And whether it be in my hometown or his hometown or in Las Vegas, I was just honored to be there in that ring in the opposite corners of that man.
Yeah. No, it was tremendous, and I think at the end of the day, the people recognize a lot your effort on that fight, and also the fact that you were there to fight. Because we've seen other fighters with Canelo that recently, like for example, this fight with William School, that the guy had his golden ticket, the opportunity to shine and for the people to see him, and maybe after that make himself a career, even if he didn't beat Canelo. And he decided to basically throw everything to the trash by not fighting, by not trying to win. We saw it also with Charlo and other guys. But let me ask you this, because I think this is one of the things that I want to know, and the people that are watching us right now, they want to know. They want to know your insights. They want to know your experience now in the ring with Canelo, because as you can see, Canelo, it's a very polarizing fighter in Mexico. There's a lot of people that hates Canelo, that doesn't give him the credit. Also, he has a lot of fans as well. But what would you say surprised you about Canelo being in the ring with him, that maybe you were getting ready to fight him and everything? And a lot of people, when they're trying to, to get that fight with Canelo, even when they are doing the promotions, they said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then they finally get a chance to be in the ring with him. What did surprise you about the way Canelo fights? What would you say was your experience inside the ring? And I don't know, like everybody says, like they have a plan, but as Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched. What does Canelo do that sometimes it makes the fights, more complicated for the rival than what it is?
His ring IQ is so good. His footwork, he cuts the ring off. It's brilliant. The head movement, the slipping and sliding, but just his accuracy. His speed is not so fast, but his accuracy, he's so accurate, and he'll almost show you what he's going to throw, but throw with enough force and enough venom that it's going to get there no matter what the guard, the roll. He's so.
Yeah. Let me see, because it's cutting a little bit, your audio. We couldn't hear you very well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me double check, because I think your audio is cutting. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Your microphone sounds a little bit muffled.
Yeah, you sound a little bit chop. Do you wanna get out and then come back in?
Yeah.
Okay. Ok, pues ahí tenemos a John Ryder. Ahorita está teniendo un problemita con audio y esa es la parte más importante que quiero que nos explique bien cuál fue su experiencia de estar adentro del ring con Canelo. Sí, como dice Dude Love, se escuchó un poquito raro. Vamos a intentar de que se vuelva a meter, porque esa es la parte más medular de esto. Aquí está ya ahorita. Vamos a traerlo otra vez. A ver qué onda, ¿eh? A ver, 1, 2, 3. Hello, champ. Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. You sound a little choppy, so I'm not sure what happened. Maybe you lost a little bit of signal. But let's try to see if we can get it back. So you were saying what about Canelo being in the ring?
Yeah, I mean, his ring IQ is second to none. The way he moves, the way he cuts the ring off, the way he almost with his feints, his head movement, he makes you throw when you don't want to throw. And he's just going to counter so quickly and take back what you're giving.
Okay. Yeah, it seems that your audio is a little bad. Do you lost a little bit of signal or? Because it sounds like a little bit like choppy and I couldn't hear you very well.
Yeah, your microphone is breaking up. I can't hear it so well.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I take you out and if you can come back. Let's see. Boom. Let's see what we can do. Microphone. Okay, let's see if it gets better. Okay, so can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's still cracking a bit.
Okay, yeah, it seems like your audio is cracking a little bit. I'm not sure if it's my internet or yours, but let's keep going really quick. And move to the last part here of the Canelo fight. So you mentioned the ring IQ. You mentioned all the feints that he does. That is one of the things that it surprised you once you are in the ring with him. Let's move to the next fight. Jaime Munguía. You face Jaime Munguía, another tough battle. How will you compare Munguía to Canelo, and what lessons did you take away from that fight of Munguía?
I thought I was going to be so much of a better fighter for facing Canelo, but I didn't realise actually at the time how much facing Canelo would take out of me in the long run.
Yeah, you're back. Now your audio is amazing.
Good. I knew that I'd have a better ring IQ, better understanding, but just the resilience wasn't there after the Canelo fight. I think I took a lot out of my body. And Munguia's a good fighter, but not nowhere near the level of Canelo.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought I saw a little bit of a different John Ryder on the Munguía fight. Maybe it's to that point where you're tired already of all the wars, and you're tired about all the training camps, and sometimes it's that moment when you're realizing that maybe it could be a time for you to do something else. I saw that because that was probably watching all your other fights that I saw you a little bit more like you were basically like a little bit done with the whole sport and everything. You fought a really good fight. Obviously I saw you a little bit more with experience on that fight, but probably the Canelo fight took a lot of you, right?
Yeah, it took my soul. I knew that I'd be better mentally for facing Canelo, but I think if I'd have had that fight when I was 25, then it would have been ideal. But having it at 35, just too late on in my career.
Now let me ask you this. Obviously, you're being in the world of boxing, even that was your last fight with Munguía, and you retire after that. And I'm sure you heard about what happened with Munguía, that he lost against Bruno Suraj with by actually an upset fight in Tijuana. I was in that fight covering, and I never expected that to happen. And then after that, he goes and fights the rematch. He wins the rematch, but then everything comes out about the whole, being positive for performance-enhancing drugs. What do you think about that? Do you think Jaime Munguía actually did it? And do you think that maybe during your fight, that could be something that maybe Jaime Munguía was very strong because he was doing like something like that as well? Do you think it put in jeopardy his legacy? Because now we don't know if Jaime Munguía was doing it before that fight, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it's a shame because it probably is going to jeopardize his legacy in the sport. I mean, he's been a former world champion at junior middleweight, and he still could go on and win a version of world title as Canelo goes on and obviously potentially vacates belts in the future. But who knows what's going to happen now, if he's going to be suspended for a period of time or banned for a period of time, which will probably take his best years away from him now. He's probably in the best time of his career when he should be kicking on and winning titles. But if he's out facing the ban, then he's going to miss out on the best time.
Yeah, and then especially because the British Boxing Commission, I mean, they're very strict, which I like that. With those particular cases, they're talking about maybe suspending him for 2 years. I think definitely that would be a big suspension and a big problem in his career, because he will take away part of his big prime of his career, like being out at this point for 2 years. I think it will be definitely detrimental, and obviously it's jeopardizing his legacy. But I think at the same time is what you need to do as a commission to at least put a stop to what is happening with all these fighters taking stuff and making the sport a little bit more clean, because definitely there is no joke. What happens in boxing is very different than playing football or baseball or other sports and use those substances, because here you're punching somebody else and people can get hurt because of this. So I feel that taking those kind of punishments to people that are cheating, it's definitely the right measures to avoid a little bit the doping. So now let me ask you this. You retire after Jaime Munguía, but you don't retire from the sport because you made a transition. So you start guiding young fighters, is stepping into the role of a trainer and mentor, right? Do you feel that is your new passion after fighting?
I feel it is, yeah. I think it keeps me involved in the sport I love. Keeps around a lot of the old faces that I'm used to being around daily. Still gives me the purpose and the drive to get up in the morning and get out of bed and go and win the day as such. And just I'm not good to be sat around doing nothing. Me being busy and kept busy and active is the best thing for me.
And what do you think being a trainer now, being on the other side? What do you force them to train like you train, or how is that experience nowadays to being? Is it more exhausting mentally being the trainer than the fighter, or what can you tell us about that?
But it is tiring being the trainer. Yeah, it's hard because when you're the fighter, you go in, you train, and then you go home. When you're the trainer, you have one fighter in, another fighter in, 3 or 4 fighters, one after the other. Then you can go home. So the days are a lot longer. It's a lot more fatiguing on the brain, but it's giving me the part of boxing that I still need to be involved in.
Nice. And if you were asked, what kind of fighter will you like to train? Like if you name one of the fighters that are like right now in boxing, will you love to train? That be like, oh, I would love to train him. I would love to do this and that with him. Is there a fighter that actually captures your attention to be his trainer?
Who would I love to train? I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know really. It's hard to say.
Okay.
It likes to be involved in one of these world champions with one of them and be part of their camp, but they're all doing so well.
Maybe you should train Shakur or Haney to show them how to fight and put a show, right? So many skills, and they don't decide to. Well, I mean, Shakur, at least in his last fight, I like what I saw from him, but finally, you know what I mean? Enough was enough. I think he definitely stepped up a little bit and put a show. But yeah, I mean, we need more of those guys. They have tremendous skills, but I feel like sometimes they don't decide to give their all inside the ring.
The thing is, I do appreciate their boxing skills, so I do
Yeah.
love their art. But yeah, we need to see them put on the line a bit more sometimes and sit in the pocket. I think Shakur's very good at sitting in the pocket as well and toughing it out inside.
Definitely. Well, let me ask you this too, because I want to know from your point of view, champ. Let's talk about boxing today. Saudi Arabia, you know, you fought in the zone, which was already a streaming platform, but now we are looking at Netflix coming in. Do you think boxing right now is in a good place?
I think it's in the best place potentially it's ever been. It's more and more accessible. You don't necessarily need satellite TV to watch it. You can watch it through your phone, on your computer, on the go. So I think for fans around the world, it's more accessible than it's ever been. And a lot of the fighters are making more money than they ever had. So for the fighters, that's the ultimate goal, to make the most money. So long may it continue.
Yeah, definitely. And now taking advantage of the fact that you actually share the ring with Canelo, and now you are in this phase of a trainer. Let's talk about a little bit the fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Now he's facing Terence Crawford. The world is kind of like split. Some say Canelo is too big and they don't want to give him any credit about facing Crawford. Other one says that Crawford is too skilled and that's what makes the fight kind of like very competitive. And actually they're giving them the edge to Crawford. You've been there with Canelo and now you're a trainer. What do you think about that fight? Who wins? And if you have to give us your strategy as a trainer, what do you think each of them have to do to win? What would you say if you were the trainer of Canelo? And what would you say if you were the trainer of Crawford that they can do to win this fight?
I think if going from the trainer of Canelo, you need to impose yourself early, impose your weight, lean on him, show him your power and your strength, and hit him
Highlight the way
hard and
he
hit him
fought you.
often. Yeah, I think just be in his face, be there, be good on the movement, cutting off the ring like you do, make the ring small for him, but really impose your pressure, your skill, and hit him hard and often, just to let him know you're there constantly.
Okay. Yeah,
And
because I mean, go ahead.
If you're coming from Bomac as Crawford's trainer, then you're gonna be following the blueprint of Bivol, in and out, be quick, be sharp, 1-2s, and but I think Canelo will fully expect that, and Eddie Reynoso will expect that and work against it.
Yeah, let me ask you this, because a lot of people, they kind of make fun about the strategy of Canelo about hitting the guys on the arms or hitting men on the chest, because they, like they technically, if you follow the Olympic boxing, it's not like a clean shot because it's not in your head or in like your lower body. It's more like in parts where it's supposed to be not a clean punch. But how much did that hurt when you're fighting Canelo and you basically didn't get hurt? I mean, didn't get hit like on the liver or someplace like that, but you just get hit like on the shoulder here, you get here in your arms. How much will that take a toll on you as a fighter, as an opponent of Canelo in the later rounds? Because I feel like, I remember one time Roberto Duran was with Canelo and he was telling him about doing those kind of things because eventually it will wear down those opponents that are kind of like slick fighters, because they will have to stop because they've been getting hurt. At the end of the day, it's a part of your body. But what can you tell us about your experience about receiving those bumps? Is that a strategy that you think it helps and you will actually think that he should do that against Crawford?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the only reason more fighters don't do it is because they're worried of hurting their hands. I mean, you hit the head and the body because it's the target, and people worry about hitting elbows, arms because of hurting their own hands. But I mean, Canelo obviously has good hands. He's hitting arms, elbows, shoulders, and doing well, and not hurting his hands in the process. So listen, it's all, the body is all the scoring target, and this is chess, not checkers, as they say.
Yeah.
And we've got to find a way to win. And listen, against Callum Smith, he took out that left arm, so Callum couldn't do the catch counter, and it paid dividends for him.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I remember that the bicep of Callum Smith was destroyed, and even Bivol on that fight that he won against Canelo, he showed his arm, and his arm was very bruised. And I think it was a good strategy. The problem is that Bivol was a big fighter, and he was able to take those punches and still throw his punches. But that's one of the things that when I was doing the trailer for your interview, I saw the fight against Canelo, and I saw the way that he throw those punches to you. And they were going with really, really bad intentions that even they didn't hit clearly on your body, but they were hitting in your body. And I know that eventually it was causing a toll on you because obviously you were getting hurt. You start dropping your arms because of that, I'm assuming. So I feel that that will be the key part with Crawford, which sometimes, boxers made the mistake that they're trying to reach out the head. And obviously, slick fighters, they're able to dodge those punches. But if you hit him on the shoulders, you hit him on the chest, you're not going to miss those shots. And you're still going to hurt the fighter that eventually in the later rounds could take a toll. So is that something that you see Canelo doing against Crawford? And is that something that you feel that Crawford could have a response to that? Or there is nothing that he can do?
No, I think that will take Crawford by surprise a bit. I think if Canelo starts landing a jab on the shoulder and then bringing the backhand into the chest and then looping the hook into the chin, it's very unorthodox, but it's gonna pay the price for Canelo. It's gonna get him the victory because Crawford is a tricky competitor. You might even slip a body shot into the hip bone just to try and immobilize him a bit, just to slow him down. And listen, I know it's frowned upon. I know it's not boxing at its purest, but we do what we have to do to win within the parameters of boxing. And listen, it's all about slowing down your opponent. So a big body shot round is on the belt maybe. That slows him down. You're hitting the chest, which is still part of the body. The shoulder is still in the punching zone. I mean, these are not illegal shots. They're well within the rights of boxing.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you think, I mean, obviously Crawford has been working on his weight and, doing all this physical training for a long period of time already to adjust to 168. He not even had a fight. He was just working in his physical strength and condition. But do you think that even with all this, Crawford might be biting something more than he can chew? Or what is your final prediction about this? And how do you see this fight going?
I think it's a silly move jumping straight to 168, not even having a fight at 160. I know he had the fight with Madrimov at 154, but the fight with Madrimov was a close fight as well.
Yeah, I was there.
He would have been better testing the water at 160. There's plenty of opponents there to test it in the top 10. And listen, Crawford is a special talent. Crawford beats a lot of the top 10 fighters in the world, but to then step up to a generational great like Canelo, 2 weights above what you're used to fighting at, and he's not even really used to fighting at. He's just moved up to 154. So to then skip up another 2 weight classes is a big ask for anyone.
Definitely. So then the final question about that: how do you see that fight going, and who wins?
I see Canelo winning. I could see it with a late stoppage or a points victory. I think between 8 and 12, Canelo could get to him and slow him down. I think Crawford will be hard early doors. First 4 rounds, he'll be slippery. He'll be obviously switching orthodox to southpaw and whatnot, and in and out. He'll try and adopt the Bivol style of punch and move. But I believe that Canelo will trap him, cut him off, and wear him down.
Yeah. Well, guys, you already got here his John Ryder opinion about the whole Canelo fight and Crawford. The analysis also as a fighter that shared the ring with Canelo, but also as a trainer right now. And we definitely are very grateful for that, Champ. Let me ask you this now. Champ, your career is full of battles, lessons, and unforgettable moments. You earned the respect of the fans worldwide. But here at House of Boxing, we always close with our flagship thing. What is the part of your career that you are most proud of?
Never giving up. Never. There's plenty of times in my career when results went against me. Rocky Fielding, Billy Joe, Callum Smith, when I could have said, right, that's enough, walk away from boxing, and people would have said, fair enough, you gave it a go, but I didn't. I made it to the highest peak of the mountain, facing Canelo in Guadalajara, and that's the best thing about facing a champion like Canelo, is doing it in his hometown, and I'm one of the only people to have done it. So for me, that's a proud moment, but also something that I think epitomizes what I stand for and what I believe in boxing.
Thank you, and congratulations on that. We also feel that you deserve everything that you got, and we want to thank you for all the great nights that you gave to the world of boxing. And we looking forward to see you more now in the corner, as you know, other retired fighters like Andy Lee and those guys that are killing it as a trainers. I think you guys have a lot to give to the sport, and you know, there's a lot of fighters that need your guidance. So thank you so much. Thank you so much on that. Now, let me ask you this, for people that want to keep knowing what you're doing and following you. Do you use social media?
I'm on Instagram, yeah, _ John _ Ryder _ That's all I'm on, really. But yeah, I'm pretty. I could be more active, but I will start getting more active on there.
That's good. That's good. No. We're gonna be following you here closely, and all the people as well, because we definitely respect you, and we like a lot everything that you gave us when you were a professional fighter. But obviously now as a trainer, I think you have a lot to give to the sport, and we're very happy that you decided to take that path as well. So, champ, I just want to thank you to close this show. Thank you for sharing your story with us. You've proven time and time again that you are a true warrior. And, you know, the true warriors are not measured only by their victories, by their hearts and their perseverance. And this is, your home. House of Boxing will always welcome you back. And anytime that you decided to be back here with us to share your knowledge, or to bring one of your fighters that you're training, we're more than welcome to have them here. Think everybody is super excited to hear what you have to say, because you're a guy that has a lot of experience in the ring, and then also a lot of knowledge, and that's always good. So thank you so much for your time. I don't want to keep taking more of your time, and I just want to be very grateful for this interview with you.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for keeping my name relevant in this sport, and it's nice to share my knowledge and experience with you all, and I hope to speak to you all again soon.
Thank you so much, champ. So now I feel a little bit more I feel a little bit more secure when I tell my wife that I bet the next 3 payments of our mortgage to Canelo that I'm not gonna lose, because you already told me that we will win. So I think I'm gonna follow my gut, and I'm gonna follow yours. And once again, thank you so much. And the last favor that I'm gonna ask you is if you can give a shout out to the channel House of Boxing, La Casa del Boxeo, and all the people from Mexico.
Yes, please. House of Boxing, La Casa
del Boxeo.
Del Boxeo. Thank you for having me on. A great page, and yeah, it's been great to speak to you guys.
Thank you so much, champ. Take care and have a wonderful weekend, okay?
Thank you very much, and you.
Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Pues ya tuvimos aquí a John Ryder. Como que se nos quiso caer ahí la transmisión, nos quiso jugar un revés, pero creo que pudimos. Yo estoy muy contento, la verdad. Pude sacar lo que quería de la entrevista. Pude sacar ese ángulo de John Ryder, donde les puede explicar a todos ustedes y para toda la gente que muchas veces no entiende y no cree lo que siente un rival cuando ya se sube al ring con el Canelo, que a veces es un poquito subestimado. Muchos dicen, no, que el Canelo, que esto y que esto otro, pero ahí está. Quizás no es la pelea más difícil que el Canelo tuvo, pero simplemente el hecho de que los peleadores cuando se suben, y mira que ahí fue donde híjole, cómo me pudo que no pudiera expresarse así claramente, pero lo dijo. O sea, son cosas para las que ellos se preparan y que al final del día los sorprende todavía la velocidad, la inteligencia, las fintas, las trampas que pone el Canelo cuando están en el ring. Y yo creo que muchas veces por eso vemos los resultados de las peleas que vimos. Por eso vimos a un Gennady Golovkin que no se pudo soltar al 100, aunque muchos lo hayan visto ganar, pero no pudo ser el Gennady Golovkin que había sido en todas sus demás peleas profesionales, porque estaba enfrente de este Canelo. Y aquí estamos volviendo a ver el análisis de una persona que no tiene nada que ver, él no tiene una agenda, él no es ni hater, ni lover, ni nada, él simplemente da su opinión y aquí nos pudo dar su opinión de lo que él cree que Crawford tiene que hacer, de lo que él cree que Canelo tiene que hacer y lo que va a hacer Canelo. Y muchas veces esas cositas, porque obviamente yo lo he escuchado en diferentes lugares que la gente se burla, que si los golpes a los brazos, que ay, que el pinche Eddie Reynoso no le enseña nada y que quién sabe qué. Ahí se los dijo. O sea, ahí se los está diciendo una persona que estuvo 12 asaltos con el Canelo. Esos golpes duelen, esos golpes hacen que cambies una estrategia de pelea que tú traes. Entonces, si el Canelo viene bien preparado físicamente, aunque haga ese tipo de estrategia, pero con un cardio más grande, con un poquito más de volumen, ese tipo de golpes al cuerpo de Crawford, a pesar de que no le esté metiendo un golpe limpio en el estómago, en la cara, ese tipo de golpes van a empezarle a bajar la condición, van a empezarle a bajar la resistencia a Terence Crawford. Y Canelo por algo tiene casi 70 peleas profesionales y ha tenido toda esta currículum de peleadores que han sido campeones del mundo. Esa experiencia nadie se la quita. Y eso es lo que él sabe, que tiene 12 asaltos para hacer el trabajo que tiene que hacer. Que obviamente hemos visto un Canelo más pasivo, un Canelo menos motivado, que no estábamos acostumbrados a ver eso porque Canelo siempre demostraba esa disciplina y esa entrega y si le ponían un bulto enfrente lo tronaba y ahora vimos esa mala actuación con William School. Obviamente Canelo se está haciendo más viejo, pero también Canelo ha cambiado su entorno de gente, ha llegado a un nivel donde, quieras o no, a pesar de haber tenido ya mucho dinero por muchos años y haber estado en la elite boxística y ser la cara del boxeo, no tenía esa imagen internacional que ahora tiene. Canelo es más que un boxeador nada más. O sea, Canelo ya tiene una imagen y unos compromisos fuera del boxeo que le quitan esa atención. Entonces lo han ido civilizando un poco y le han ido quitando ese enfoque de estar ahora sí que entregado a sus campamentos. Pero yo creo que en esta pelea con Terence Crawford sabe lo que se está jugando y vamos a volver a ver un Canelo, no el Canelo del 2020, porque ya no va a ser el mismo, obviamente han pasado 5 años y ya en una persona que tiene 36 años de edad, 5 años es muy importante, no es lo mismo tener 25 y tener 30, puedes decir, es lo mismo, sigue siendo una persona joven en su prime, pero ya al tener 31 años, al tener 36 años, ya no es lo mismo, ya hay un bajón. Entonces, no vamos a ver al mismo, pero sí vamos a ver un Canelo más motivado. Y les invito mucho a que vean, bueno, no, mejor no los invito. Vamos a tratar de traer aquí a Abel Sánchez, porque tuvo una entrevista recientemente en otro lugar. Y creo que él habla mucho de eso. Y para ser Abel Sánchez una persona muy importante en la carrera de Canelo, porque fue una rivalidad muy grande la que él tuvo representando a Triple G, el hecho de que le dé todo ese crédito a Canelo y que esté diciendo muchas cosas, lo están escuchando de alguien que no precisamente es un Canelo fan. Entonces, yo creo que simplemente es el respeto mutuo que se tienen por la calidad de peleador que es Canelo Álvarez y lo que él significó como entrenador de Gennady Golovkin. Entonces, sería muy interesante también escuchar su opinión, pero la verdad estoy muy contento y muy agradecido con John Ryder que haya estado aquí con nosotros, porque creo yo que se pudo obtener lo que yo quería sacar de esta entrevista, que era parte de que ustedes vivieran esa experiencia de tener a un rival que no es un rival viejo de Canelo. ¿A qué me refiero? Que no tuve al rival de que, que cuando Canelo tenía 5 peleas profesionales y me traje al rival de Canelo. Digo, no quiero faltar al respeto ni sonar así como que, que no me interesa, no. Pero John Ryder estuvo, quizás no en el más grande prime de Canelo, pero estuvo ahorita en la última etapa y es un rival vigente que Canelo tuvo. Entonces, el que nos dé esa parte, que nos dé ese tiempo y que nos cuente esas anécdotas y esa experiencia, y sobre todo que sea un entrenador y que ahora pueda él darnos su punto de vista, creo que eso es muy, muy importante. Entonces, a mí me gustó la verdad la entrevista, y déjenme ir un poquito aquí con los comentarios. El Dude Love aquí se quedó. Ryder no think, sabe cositas. Así es, sabe cositas, y creo que aquí las contó en la Casa del Boxeo. Dice, en la mejor parte, pero fue muy buena entrevista. Sí, fíjate, esa fue la parte que quizás no pudimos rescatar todo lo que él como peleador sintió cuando enfrentó al Canelo, pero lo que sí pudimos rescatar es lo que él cree que va a pasar en lo de Canelo con Crawford, y creo que eso es parte de la experiencia que él tuvo de estar con Canelo en el ring, y parte de lo que él ve como entrenador ahora de que lo que tiene que hacer Canelo. Entonces aquí dice Dude, se ve chacal, pero la raza no le quiere reconocer el talento a Canelo. Así es, o sea, así es, y ahí está, miren, y no importa, digo, al final del día, para gustos los colores, no les tienen que gustar a todo mundo, pero pues aquí está un tipo que, como lo vuelvo a decir, no creo que tenga ninguna agenda. Él ya enfrentó a Canelo, él ya está retirado, y creo que tiene autoridad para poder hablar acerca de él. El golpe en el brazo le tumba el jab, exactamente, y probablemente a Crawford, que no está acostumbrado a recibir ese golpe de peleadores así de fuertes, a diferencia de Bivol, que había enfrentado a varios grandes. Exactamente, y no es tanto eso. Bueno, sí, eso es exactamente. Que Bivol está acostumbrado a recibir, o sea, recibió con Beterbiev y los pudo resistir y pudo regresar y ganar una pelea. Ahora imagínate los golpes del Canelo, ¿sí? Pero entonces, cuando te empieza a pegar, ¿qué fue lo que pasó con Jaime Munguía? Cuando el Canelo le empezó a pegar esos golpes en los brazos, Jaime Munguía empezó a bajar las manos y dejó de tirar el jab. Y ya dejando de tirar el jab, se vuelve un blanco más fácil y hay menos volumen de golpes por parte de ese rival. Entonces, esa estrategia quizás no era la más indicada para ir contra alguien como Bivol, porque Bivol iba a aguantar, y obviamente cuando tú tiras esos bombazos a los brazos, gastas energía, no ves un rédito en ese momento porque no ves que el peleador se resienta y te abres a que te contragolpeen, y eso es lo que pasaba. Canelo le tiraba el bombazo, está así, le tira el bombazo a Bivol, se queda abierto, y Bivol lo que hace es se protege y ¡pam! El 1-2. ¿Y qué es lo que sucedía? Que eso le ganaba rounds. Y después Canelo se fue cansando, y ahí fue donde empezaron los problemas en la última parte de la pelea de Canelo con Bivol. Dice, por eso Bivol sí pudo soportar los golpes, y aún así se decía que sí eran golpes muy fuertes. Ahora Crawford sí se ve muy difícil que aguante esos golpes. Exactamente, exactamente. Si Canelo viene con esa presión y viene cortando el ring, que no es el mejor, pero mucha gente se está yendo con la finta también de que Canelo no corta el ring. No, Canelo sí sabe cortar el ring. Lo que pasa es que lo que vimos con William School fue un bodrio de pelea, y fue la peor actuación que hemos visto de Canelo, pero ese no es el Canelo que yo creo que vamos a ver con Crawford. Entonces va a estar muy interesante. Ya llegándose la fecha, ya estamos a menos de un mes, como lo dijo el Dude Love. Ya estamos a menos de un mes, y yo creo que se empieza a poner esto más caliente. Así es que con eso dicho, amigos, pues yo creo que estamos llegando al final del programa. Cubrimos, creo que todos los comentarios más o menos. Agradecerle a toda la gente que estuvo aquí, y obviamente pues mil disculpas. No fue cosa ahora sí que de este lado, era él el que tenía una mala conexión, pero qué bueno que la seguimos, porque sí estuve a punto de decirle, pues sabes qué, pues ahí muere, ¿no? Pero lastimosamente era donde se estaba poniendo buena la entrevista, y como que después que siguió hablando, ¿qué fue lo que ocurrió? Que después de que sigue hablando, el Ryder se empezó a mejorar el micrófono, ¿no? Entonces, pues bueno, amigos, ahora sí que llegamos al final del programa. Dice aquí el Dude Love, déjate ir al imperio, chacal. Déjame ver, porque ya aquí también ya son las 11, tengo que ver qué onda con la familia, pero si no hay ahorita planes, igual y llego un ratito ahí con ellos, pero sí. Pues mandándoles saludos y agradecimiento a toda la gente que se pudo conectar. Después vamos a tratar de sacar extractos de esta entrevista. Y como les dije, a la gente que no habla inglés, espérense un ratito, en un par de horas más ya van a poderla escuchar la entrevista con subtítulos en español, ¿ok? Y a lo mejor hasta doblaje. Así es que con eso dicho, amigos, Se despide el Chacal desde cabina deseándoles que pasen un buen fin de semana y nos vemos la siguiente semana en un show más de Contra las Cuerdas. No se les olvide suscribirse, darle like, compartir el programa y nos vemos la siguiente semana. Gracias, Dude Love. Un placer para mí. La verdad estoy muy contento que hayamos podido concretar esta entrevista con el gran guerrero del camino, el gran Rocky del boxeo, John Ryder. Se despide el Chacal y les dice, agarren su traguito y saludcita. Adiós.